Hi, my name is Becca, and I am a private violin and viola instructor. This video is part 1 of a 4-part violin tutorial series entitled Approaching Intimidating Études. In this series, I will break down the Mazas Étude Opus 36, number 28, into 4 sections. This video covers the first section in F major. It's the longest of the 4 sections with 28 measures to learn. So if you're working on this etude or need an idea of how to approach etudes of this difficulty level, I'm here to step you through a simple process and encourage you with a couple exercises to prepare you to play this piece and etudes similar to this one. So let's take a look at the section for today. So first things first, we are in F major. F major has one flat, which is B flat, and we're in 6/8 time. So what does that mean? Well, the top number tells us how many beats are in each measure, so there's 6 beats in each measure. And the bottom number represents what note gets the beat. So in this case, that is the 8th note. All right, we've got a bunch of double beamed notes here, which means we're playing 16th notes throughout. So 16th note is half of an 8th note, so we're subdividing through the entire etude, counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. Now I'm not counting that in my head all the way through, but I am feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the ands in between. So I am feeling that subdivision all the way through. So our tempo marking is allegretto, which is moderately fast. So anywhere from 98 to 108 BPMs or beats per minute. And we're gonna play this on the slower side, especially while we're learning it. We're not even gonna worry about the tempo marking just yet. That's just for performance. So take a look at our slurs. We have slurs connecting 2 notes, 3 notes, and 4 notes. So here in the first couple of lines, we've got our 2-note slurs. Okay. Here and here. Look at these accent marks. So we'll just give a little bit more emphasis to the first of the 2-note slurs. Okay. Look here, some more 2-note slurs. And looky here, we have a dotted 8th note. So we're gonna count 1 and 2, and then change to the A on the and of 2. So 1 and 2 and. All right, some more 2-note slurs. Here's our first 3-note slur. And then a 4-note slur right there. Getting an accent on that 8th note. Let's keep going. To the next lines. Here we go. Another 3-note slur, 3-note slur, 4-note slur. So a little bit of a pattern going on, and then another accent mark. It looks the same as before, just different notes. Another one, 3-note slur, 3-note slur, 4-note slur, accent. So 3 times we've done the same bowing pattern. And we have more 2-note slurs with accent marks on the first. And then more 3-note slurs right there. Okay. And 2-note slur, 2-note slur. Okay, and here at the end, we've got some staccato markings. So make those short, short, short. Okay, throughout we're going to use a relatively short bow stroke, with the exception of the slurs. So we have a total of 6 shifts that we have to do in this section. We begin in first position, okay? With a low first finger on F natural, right? And we do our first shift in measure 6. This is a 1-to-1 shift, shifting from low first finger F natural up to first finger A in third position. Our next shift is 2 measures later, where we do a quick jump down to first position. It really is fast, so you have to be ready to hop your hand down. Okay. Our next shift is in measure 17. That's right, measure 17. And it's another 1-to-1 shift. So first finger, well, that's a regular first finger B natural, and then you shift up to first finger D on the A string. So you are now in third position. Okay. And then here, this is a little tricky. It's a little shift down into second position, but you are hopping all the way from the G string to the E string. And you have to land your second finger on that third finger tape on your A on the E string. Okay, and we don't stay there very long. In second position, we move pretty quickly. Here's our open shift. So we have an open E string, and then we shift down to first position with our third finger on A on the E string. So this is first position. Okay, and once we're in first position, we pretty much stay there until the very end. Yes, so this is our open. Can you see that? Open string, open A string, and we shift up real quick like to third position. And that's where we end, in third position. So I've compiled a few simple exercises for this section. These exercises include a 2-octave F major scale and a scale in thirds to help our fingers get used to the finger patterns in F major. By finger patterns, I'm simply referring to the pattern of half steps and whole steps between your fingers on any string in any position. Then I have a shifting exercise with first finger to first finger between first and third positions, and that will help us to be more accurate when we're shifting. And then I have a second position exercise that will help us get oriented in second position. So let's get started. So here is our 2-octave F major scale. We will begin in first position on the D string, and we will shift into third position using our first finger, going up to the D in third position. And then we will shift again with our first finger on C natural in fifth position. And on the way down the scale, we will shift from that same first finger, C natural, to, this is a low fourth finger, B flat. And we will continue in first position all the way down the scale. So let's look at our half steps and whole steps and mark these if you need to. I mark them with a little upside down V so that I can see when they're coming up. So from the beginning of the scale, we've got whole step, then there is a half step right here between the A and the B flat, so there's a low first finger. Whole step, half step right here. So we've got that low third finger. So 2 and 3 are real close together. Whole step, half step. That's your low 2 B flat. Then you shift up to that first finger, that's whole step, and then we have a half step between the E and the F. Okay, so these are all half steps between E, F, F, E, F, F, E. All right, then whole step, shifting down into first position with that low fourth finger, and then here's your half step. 4 and 3 are really close together, and then we have whole step, and then make sure you play a low one here, okay, because that's a whole step. And then we have a half step between these guys. So let's go ahead and play a fourth finger E there, and then whole step, so this one's low 1, that's that B flat. And then there is a half step right here. Let's play fourth finger, A. Whole step. Okay, so let's try it slowly. Good job. So if this was challenging for you, take the time to back this video up, pause on the F scale, play through it slowly until you're more confident in the distance between each note and more confident in your shifts. Remember to take your entire hand with you. Don't leave your thumb behind, okay? So let's move on to our scale in thirds. So in this exercise, we have a lot of opportunities to use an open string, but we want to play with our fourth finger whenever possible, because using our fourth finger is going to make us stronger and more aware of the distance between the notes. We play a lot of arpeggios or broken chords in this etude, so this exercise is very useful to us. Let's try it slowly. Excellent work. Again, if this was challenging for you, back it up, pause on the exercise, and do the work. You will thank yourself later. Remember that you are training your ears, not just your fingers. And doing scales and thirds is a game changer for your spacing and your intonation. So you will start to hear a difference in your tuning once you start doing this work. All right, so on to the next exercise. This is our shifting exercise from a book called Above the First Position. These will prepare us for measures 6, 8, and 17. The first line of music is shifting on the E string. Make sure you use a low first finger for that F natural. The first two measures are in first position for you to test your pitches on F natural and A. Then we will quickly glide the first finger lightly along the string up to third position and back down for the rest of the line. Again, when shifting, you want to take your whole hand with you. Don't leave your thumb behind and commit to the shift. Pay attention to how far apart everything is. We want to memorize the distance for accuracy. Let me show you how this should look and sound. Nice. So slowly practice this one. It's okay to hear a slide in this exercise and then to gradually increase your speed of the shift as you go. Next, we have a similar exercise on the D string. This time we start with a regular first finger B natural, and we begin by testing our pitches B and D in first position. And then we glide our first finger up to third position and back. Let's try this one. This exercise is also from the book called Above the First Position. So here we are going to get acquainted with second position. So this will be good if you haven't played in second position very much. We start in first position. Remember to use a low first finger on this F natural. In the first measure, we test our pitches open E, low 1 F, and second finger G. In the second measure, we will shift with our first finger to G. This puts us in second position. Here is what this exercise will look and sound like. This last exercise is similar to something I found in Above the First Position, but I altered it to suit our needs in measure 19. Once we shift into second position, we will play all whole steps on the E string, so all the fingers will be spaced out. However, when we play E, D, C sharp on the A string, we are raising our first finger and changing the spacing. Let me show you how this exercise will look and sound. Excellent. I hope these exercises went well for you. Please go back and practice them to build your confidence. All right, let's go. Let's take a slow pass through our section, talk through some of the tricky things, and then there will be a final demonstration at the end. So in this first measure, we want to keep our first finger down the whole way through. So you can keep your 1 down the entire time. Make sure it's a low 1, F natural. Second measure, we have to raise our first finger to F sharp, right? And so that puts a half step between our first and second fingers. And then there's also a half step between our third and fourth fingers, leaving a whole step in between here. And that's a little strange. So it only happens for half a measure, and then we change our first finger back to a low 1. So be careful with this measure with your low 4 and regular first finger F sharp. Okay, and then we move our first finger down to low 1. And then there's a repetition of the first 2 measures again. So keep your first finger down, low first finger. And then that first finger has to come up to F sharp. And then go down to F natural. And then hold your first finger down again. And this is where it changes, and we are about to shift. So get ready to shift up to third position. Still low 4 right there. Shift up. And that's a low third finger. So, and then a B natural. So that second finger is really close to the third finger, okay? And then we're going over to the A string, right? And that is a low third finger. So your second and third fingers stay close together, even across the strings. Okay. So, okay? And then, so half step right here between 2 and 3, and then a whole step between 3 and 4. So you stay in third position as you go down that scale, and then you quickly jump down to first position on the E string. So you're hopping strings and you're also shifting at the same time. So you want to practice these things slowly, okay? Now, your first finger is a low first finger, so everything is spaced out right there, whole steps. And you want a little bit of an accent on the first note here. And then an accent here as well. And then your first finger is regular 1 again with the B natural. So make sure that you have it in mind that your first finger changes from the A string to the E string. We have a regular first finger on B natural on the A string, but when we change to E string, we have a low first finger. So you want to make that adjustment. And then when you get to that dotted 8th note, you're counting 1 and 2. So let me do that measure again, measure 9. One and 2 and. Does that make sense? So 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, 6 and. Okay. So you do want to count that. And then we're back to the beginning. So first finger, low, first finger, F natural, stays down the entire measure. And this is the same, so we raise our first finger to F sharp, and then we have that low fourth finger. So you really want to listen for your tuning there. This is hard to get in tune, so you want to play slow and make sure you're being particular. Make sure that your notes are in tune, okay? So I had to adjust my second finger, it was a little too low. And that one's hard to get in tune, so you want to make sure that your fingers are up and over the fingerboard, so that your fingers are nice and tall, so you can get that low fourth finger in tune. So let's do that again. And then adjust your first finger down, low F natural. And then same thing again, first finger stays down. Same thing again. And now we have the 3-note slurs. So the thing about this is bow control. You want to recover your bow after doing the 3-note slur. So I'll show you kind of how it's supposed to go. So I start down near the frog, right? And I get about here. So let's see. About halfway. So. And then I'm trying to recover my bow to get back to the frog for the next 3-note slur. Okay, so let me do it from the beginning of that measure. So you want to try and stay close to the frog for that part, so that you're starting those 3-note slurs in the same spot in the bow. For consistency, for bow control, you want all the articulations to be the same both times. Okay, so one more time, let me do that again. And I'm also coming back to the frog for this next measure where we have a 4-note slur. And note that all of these are half steps. So E flat, D, C sharp, back to D. Those are all half steps. So you have to reach back for that low first finger, F natural, right after those 3 half steps. So leave your third finger down for that. It'll be easier to get back there. And then low first finger, B flat, right? And then low 2, B flat. So let's do that one more time. And that B flat 8th note has an accent on it. So you can lean into that a bit more and note that it is an up bow. So your next measure, measure 17, is going to begin on a down bow. So what's tricky about this is it all happens pretty fast and you have to do a lot of bow control. So I'm going to back it up 2 measures before 17, where we first have the 3-note slurs. Okay, and watch how I retake my bow. I recover my bow back to the frog anytime I'm going to have a slur. Okay, and then I have to jump all the way to my E string in measure 17. Okay, so get that low second finger ready. You're going parallel from your G string all the way to your E string on that second finger, low second finger. So we have a regular fourth finger, so you have to raise your fourth finger for the B natural. But the bowing is the same as 2 measures before, so you can use the same bow control. And this is where we have to shift up into 3rd position pretty quickly and try and recover your bow again, so you're there when you get to the 4-note slur. And again, that's going to be 4 half steps. So from F natural, E, D sharp, back to E. Those are all really close together. So that 4th finger is an extension 4th finger, and it's higher than you think it is. So you want to go really slow to figure that part out, okay? So even higher than what I wanted to play. All right. And then you end on an up bow for that C 8th note right before the next measure of 3-note slurs again. Here we are jumping across the string over to the E string once again, and we have to land our 2nd finger on our A. So that puts us in 2nd position. So that's a bit tricky. Let's go from the measure before and get into that measure. So 18 going into 19. And then jump over. And that is a high 4th finger, C sharp. Okay, so it's far away. It's all the way up there. And here we have an opening, so we can go back down to our 1st position. So that's a nice way to shift, where we just have an open E string and we can just relaxed jump back to 1st position. Not to mention we're only in 2nd position, so it's not that far away. All right, so let's keep going from there. Our open. All right, now we're in 1st position, and we're on a down bow, 4-note slur, and we have a whole step from G to F natural, and then open E back to F natural. So all of those 8th notes that have the accent over them in measures 16, 18, 20, all of those end on an up bow. Okay, so it's always the same. Let's go on from there. We're going to start at 21. So low 4th finger, B flat, right? And we're just gonna repeat that. Make sure you get a low 1st finger, B flat there. So here we have more 3-note slurs, okay? And I try to stay close to the frog there. I retake my bow. So use open A's when you're doing those arpeggios. So that's not too tricky. Let's move on. Next measure. You have to jump over your D string to get to your open A string. Try not to hit your D string on the way over. A good way to not hit that D string is to lean into the first finger A on the G string and kind of lift off to place your bow. So onto the A string. So. All right, and high second finger C sharp. Low first finger F natural, and this is where we shift. So we had another open string to a shift. So these are harder when you have to go up from an open string shift. But let's start at the beginning of that measure. Remember your low 3 F natural there. It feels closer together than before. So don't forget that you have a low 3. If you need to write that in, do that for yourself. Okay? So the last 2 measures, let's do that again. And then we have high third finger real close to the fourth finger, and then a double stop. So you want to balance the bow on both your E and A string for this. Okay? And these are going to be short staccato. Except for the very last note. So, all right. So that's all of it. You want to practice everything slow and work your way through just a little bit at a time. If you have problems with anything, you want to go back and isolate those sections. So there you have it, 28 measures to work your way through. Take a couple of measures at a time until you've learned to play all 28. Notice that there's a lot of repetition, a lot of reused material, so you'll learn some music that is repeated later on. So technically there's less than 28 measures to learn. Now that we've made it through our section, let's listen to hear what it sounds like straight through with no stops. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this breakdown was helpful for you. Keep practicing your scale in thirds, revisit the exercises in this video, take the etude measure by measure until you can play through the entire section, and when you're ready, continue on to the next video where we will work through the second section. Bye for now.